She swore he was just a workout buddy. Then she posted a boomerang of them kissing. I sent it to her gym's official page with the caption, "Is this standard training?" Her membership got cancelled. So did our engagement. I'm 35, from Austin, Texas. I was engaged to a woman I truly thought I'd spend my life with. I'll call her Samantha for this. We were together for 3 years. Lived together for 2. Engaged for 7 months. We had a dog, joint bank account, the whole building a life together thing. I honestly thought I had it made. Samantha was a personal trainer. She worked at a pretty well-known gym in downtown Austin, not a chain, one of those private fitness centers where people spend too much money for a fancy smoothie and a personal coach to tell them to do squats. She was fit, always full of energy, constantly posting stuff about workouts, healthy food, progress shots from her clients, just very into her job. And I supported it. I was proud of her. I don't work out as much as she did, but I respected how much she loved what she did. I bragged about her to my friends. We met at a coffee shop. She was the barista. I used to go in almost every morning before work. We clicked pretty fast. Same sense of humor. She liked my nerdy jokes. I liked that she was confident and didn't take crap from anyone. We started dating, and everything moved pretty naturally. Things were great for a long time. Or at least, I thought they were. A few months ago, she started mentioning this new client, Jake. She said he was trying to get back in shape after an injury. Said he was funny, dedicated, always pushing himself in workouts. At first, I didn't think anything of it. She talked about her clients all the time. That's part of being a trainer. But then I noticed she was talking about him a lot. Like, every other day kind of a lot. She'd come home from her evening sessions and say, "Jake cracked this joke today." Or, "Jake actually beat his personal record on the treadmill," or, "Jake might sign up for another 12 sessions. Still, I brushed it off. I told myself, it's her job. He's probably just a cool client. Then came the changes. She started working out on her own more often. More solo gym sessions, usually in the evenings. I'd ask if she wanted to have dinner, and she'd say, "I'm gonna hit the gym first, don't wait up." She was already training clients during the day, this was separate. These were her personal workouts. And then there was her phone. She started keeping it face down. She'd get texts while we were watching TV and glance at them without replying. If I asked who it was, she'd say, "Just a client," or "work stuff." She got snippy if I asked anything about her schedule. I wasn't grilling her or being controlling, I'd just say, "Hey, what time will you be home tonight?" and she'd roll her eyes like I was being annoying. Still, I tried to be understanding. I thought maybe she was just stressed. One night, I was scrolling through Instagram. I don't really follow Samantha's gym friends, but one of them followed me, no idea why, and her story popped up. I almost kept scrolling, but the first second caught my eye. It was a boomerang. You know, the kind where it loops back and forth. And there she was, Samantha, sitting next to some guy at a bar. They were toasting drinks, laughing, and in the middle of it, the boomerang looped, they leaned in and kissed. I blinked. Rewatched it. Paused it. Replayed it again. I screenshotted the whole thing. My hands were shaking. It was clearly her. Her face. Her hair. The necklace I gave her for her birthday. It was her. And it was him. Jake. I only knew what he looked like because he was in a few of her gym posts. His tattoos, his shaved head, no mistaking him. They were kissing. In public. Someone else at the table recorded it. She knew they were being filmed. She posted it. She smiled right after. She wanted to be seen. I didn't sleep that night. I sat on the couch with that screenshot burned into my eyes. Next morning, she came back from her run. She walked in, kissed me on the forehead like nothing happened. I showed her the photo. She froze. Didn't speak. Just stared at it like it was a ghost. Then she said, "It's not what you think." I said, "You kissed him." She said, "It was just a joke. We were all drinking. It didn't mean anything." I asked, "Why didn't you tell me you were out drinking with him?" She said, "Because you'd freak out for no reason." I said, "You're engaged. You kissed another man. You lied about where you were. How am I supposed to not freak out?" She got defensive. Tried to turn it on me. Said I was being insecure. Said it was just a one-time thing. "You're overreacting." I wasn't buying it. Not anymore. I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything. I just went back to my room, shut the door, and sat on the edge of the bed. My brain felt like it was running in circles. I kept asking myself, was I blind? Am I stupid? How long has this been happening? Then I opened Instagram. I went to her gym's official page. I'd met them. Attached the Boomerang. Captioned it, "Is this standard training?" I didn't expect anything. I just needed someone to see it. To know. They responded the next morning. I got a message from the gym manager, someone I had met briefly at one of their open house nights. They apologized. Said this was against their policy. Said they would address the situation immediately. 2 days later, Samantha came home sobbing. Said they fired her. Cancelled her trainer license with them. Banned her from the location. Said her clients had been reassigned. She looked at me and screamed, "You ruined my life." I looked her straight in the eye and said, "You did that yourself." So after she got fired from the gym, she didn't leave right away. We were still living together. I told her we needed space and that she should stay with a friend or something, but she kept saying she had nowhere to go and needed time to fix this. At first, I let her stay. That was a mistake. She started acting like she was the victim. Crying randomly, sleeping in late, blaming cancel culture for getting her fired. She told everyone that I exaggerated what happened. Left out the part where she kissed another man. Claimed it was just a misunderstanding. But then something weird started happening. Her phone was suddenly blowing up constantly. She was always texting. Always on calls in the other room. One night I walked past the living room and caught a glimpse of her screen. She was texting Jake. She hadn't stopped. I confronted her again. I said, "You told me it was a one-time mistake. Why are you still talking to him?" She just shrugged and said, "Because he listens to me. Because he's been there for me when you haven't." I said, "You cheated on me." She snapped back, "I made one mistake and you turned everyone against me." He didn't. I was stunned. I wasn't even angry at that point, I was just hollow. I told her she needed to leave by the weekend. But here's where the twist comes in. So we had already put deposits down for the venue, the photographer, catering, and a ton of other stuff. We were about 4 months out from the wedding date. I had started canceling everything slowly. When I called the venue to cancel, the woman on the phone sounded confused. She said, "Wait, I just spoke with your fiancé yesterday." She confirmed the date and even added 2 extra hours to the rental. I said, "That's not possible. We broke up." The woman said, "Well, she paid the difference with a different card and said to keep everything as scheduled." I hung up and stared at my phone. What the hell? So I checked our joint email, the one we used just for wedding stuff. Turns out Samantha had been responding to vendors, pretending like everything was fine. confirming details. Giving green lights on stuff I had specifically told her we needed to cancel. I checked the billing. She was using a new credit card. In her name. She had rebooked everything. Now here's where it gets worse. A friend of mine, let's call her Rachel, works for a local hotel chain that handles events and catering. She's tight with one of the florists we were using. Rachel calls me one afternoon and says, "Hey, weird question. Are you and Samantha still getting married?" I say no, and explain the situation. Rachel goes quiet. Then she says, "You're gonna want to see this." She texts me a screenshot of a wedding planning thread on a private Facebook group Samantha was part of. She had posted that she and her new fiancé were planning a ceremony, on short notice due to a whirlwind romance, and that they'd be using a venue gifted from a past relationship. Let me say that again. New fiancé. So I do what any sane person would do, I check Jake's Instagram. It was public. And there it was. A post from 2 days ago. Him and Samantha, arms around each other, in front of a wedding backdrop. Caption: "Can't wait to make her my wife." I lost it. This woman hadn't just cheated, she was trying to use the wedding I had helped plan, to marry someone else. I didn't wait. I came home that night and told her I knew everything. I told her I saw the Facebook post, the Instagram post, the florist orders. I told her I knew she was pretending to be me, giving confirmations, and lying to every vendor. She didn't even deny it. She just said, I couldn't afford to start over. Everything was already planned. Why waste it? I said, because it was our wedding. You planned it with me. You lied. You cheated. And now you're marrying someone else and trying to recycle my life for it. She actually rolled her eyes. Rolled her eyes. Then she said something I'll never forget. "Well, I'm sorry you're so emotional. But some of us move on faster than others." That's when I lost it. I didn't yell. I didn't scream. I just calmly said, "You have 48 hours to get out. Or I'll get the police involved." She tried to laugh it off. Thought I was bluffing. I wasn't. So after I told Samantha to get out, she didn't take me seriously. She left some of her stuff behind. Said she'd swing by later to pick it up. Kept calling me to talk, like we were going to somehow work things out, even while she was publicly with Jake. I was done. Done being the calm guy. Done playing it cool. I needed her completely out of my life. So I boxed up everything she left. Clothes. Gym gear. That water bottle she carried everywhere. But then I had an idea. I added some extras. The scrapbook we made together, every photo of us from vacations to just cuddling on the couch. Birthday cards I wrote her. The open one letters I made for her last Christmas. Everything with my handwriting, my face, my words. I packed it all in a big box, slapped Jake's name on it, and mailed it to his address. I didn't include a note. I didn't have to. 3 days later, I got a call from an unknown number. I let it ring out. Then my phone buzzed again. This time, a text, "We need to talk." Jake. Turns out, Jake didn't know everything. Yes, he knew she was engaged when they first hooked up. But she told him it was over. That I was just a roommate she couldn't shake yet, and that the wedding was off because I had cheated on her. She told him I was controlling. That I was holding her back. That I didn't support her career. The man thought I was the villain. But after getting that box and seeing the dates on those photos, the cards, the messages, he started putting things together. She had lied to him about the timeline. About me. About everything. We talked on the phone for 20 minutes. He wasn't angry. He actually sounded broken. He said, "Man, I think I just proposed to a complete stranger." And yeah, he had. We didn't become friends, but we understood each other. So, she finally moved out. Took her things. Blocked me on everything. I thought that would be the last of it. But about a month later, I got a call from a vendor asking about the final headcount for our wedding. I was confused. I told them we'd cancelled everything. They said, "You did. But a woman claiming to be your wife called last week and said to put the wedding back on. She even tried to have the venue transferred to her new name." I was stunned. Again. She had called pretending to be my wife, trying to hijack the wedding venue I had already paid a deposit for, hoping she could still use it for her wedding to Jake. And she almost pulled it off. I had to call the vendor, cancel the event again, and report what she did as fraud. She didn't stop there. Another blow came from a mutual friend, Marcus. He texted me, "Hey man, I just got a new invite to your wedding. Thought you guys broke up?" I asked him to send me a picture. It was a new invitation. Same venue. New date. New groom's name, Jake. But our design. Our guest list. Even my childhood friend's name on it. She literally copied the guest list from our wedding planning Google document. And used it to send out invites to their wedding. I couldn't believe it. I was disgusted. Marcus was furious on my behalf. Said she called it a rebrand of her love story. That, not every journey looks perfect, but love wins in the end. I nearly threw my phone across the room. The real twist? Jake didn't go through with it. He messaged me again, this time, a week before the new wedding date. Said he called it off. Said he gave her an ultimatum, come clean about everything, or they were done. She admitted most of it, including that she had lied about still living with me while sleeping with him. She even admitted that she never told me she was pregnant once, yes, pregnant, and then said she lost it to avoid the confrontation. He said he couldn't trust her. Didn't want to be husband number one on a future husband body count story. So he left. And she spiraled. I don't know where she is now. She's off social media. Friends said she's staying with her sister somewhere near San Marcos. The gym world in Austin is small, so her reputation took a big hit. Word spreads. But me? I'm still dealing with the aftermath. It all came to a head on a Sunday afternoon. I didn't plan it. Honestly, I didn't want to see her again. But life, or maybe karma, had its own ideas. So remember Marcus? The friend who got the new wedding invite? He was throwing a mutual friend's birthday party at a rooftop bar in downtown Austin. I wasn't going to go, but I was tired of hiding from social spaces just because of her. I needed to reclaim some normalcy. I showed up late. Thought maybe I could blend in, have a drink, say hi, and slip out. But 5 minutes after I got there, she walked in. Samantha. Wearing a tight maroon dress and that same fake, high-energy smile she used at the gym to pull people into her bubble. She saw me and froze. I turned to leave, but Marcus grabbed my arm. You don't have to go. Stay. She's not the queen of this party. I stayed. Half an hour passed. People mingled. The music got louder. I was sitting on a bench near the bar when I heard her voice behind me. You think you ruined my life, she said, just loud enough to be heard over the music. I turned. She stood there, drink in hand, still trying to hold on to that confident posture. I didn't answer. She went on, louder now. You think you exposed me. But you just made it worse for everyone. Jake, my job, my friends. Everyone turned on me. I stood up. Calm. But I could feel the adrenaline. You did that, I said. You cheated. You lied. You tried to recycle our wedding for someone else. She laughed, bitterly. Oh please. You were boring. You stopped caring about me. You didn't even notice when I was unhappy. By now, people were watching. Conversations stopped. Phones subtly raised. I didn't care. Then why didn't you leave? I asked. Why did you lie? Why pretend to love me while planning a future with someone else? And then, loud and without shame, she blurted, because I didn't think you'd make it without me. Gasps. Legit gasps from people nearby. Marcus stepped in. Samantha, you should stop. She ignored him. You think you were the victim? I gave you 3 years. And what did I get? A guy who didn't even have ambition to match mine. A guy who let himself go and thought watching Netflix was intimacy. Her words were knives. But they didn't cut. Not anymore. I looked her dead in the eye and said, I didn't make this public. You did. When you kissed another man and bragged about it on social media. When you stole our wedding and tried to use it to marry your rebound. You think I was boring? Fine. But I was loyal. And with that, I turned around and walked out. She didn't follow. No tears. No apology. Just silence behind me. Later, I heard she tried to cry her way into sympathy with some of the partygoers. Most people didn't buy it. Word had gotten around already. Jake never came back to her. She tried reaching out to some mutual friends, but by then, everyone had seen enough. It's been a few months since that night. I moved to a new apartment. Started running again. Got a promotion at work. I'm not saying everything magically fixed itself, but I stopped blaming myself. You can't heal while still holding on to the person who hurt you. Samantha taught me something brutal but real. Trust isn't about grand gestures, it's about consistency. It's built in quiet moments, small choices, and respect. And once it's broken, it's like glass. It can be pieced back together, but the cracks always show. As for her, I don't hate her. I don't wish her harm. I just don't think about her anymore. And that, honestly, is the biggest win. Some people burn bridges. Others napalm the entire coastline. But sometimes, walking away from the wreckage is the only way to build something real again, this time, for yourself. I'm not healed. But I'm healing. And for the first time in a long time, I feel like I can breathe.